If in your insurance company you have to work with a lot of information from PDFs, videos, or some other documents, then you will find this internal chatbot solution, which I'm going to show you, pretty helpful, as it will help you retrieve information more faster, almost instantly. And it's interesting because by just saving 15 minutes a day for a 10-person insurance team, you can save about 6,000 euros per year if your wage is 15 euros an hour, and you'll be able to see it at the end of the video. It's pretty cool. And the best part is that you can be sure about this internal chatbot solution's safety, because all the AIs and all the infrastructure is hosted safely on your own Azure cloud. Now, I'm gonna walk you through quickly how this could look like, and got a little insurance folder here, and I put some chunky PDFs there, some of them which were actually 200 pages. Yeah, this one, 199 pages PDF about some policies, some California's commercial auto product guide, and I also did some videos. Then we have some insurance templates, but of course this is just the tip of the iceberg, and there's just a few PDFs and templates I found on the web, but I hope you will understand the idea. And now this internal chatbot, which I'm going to show you today, it's like a tab in Teams, so it's for Microsoft users. And now what I suppose is that probably in your daily job you have to a lot of times look at these cases or these policies on how these specific rules go, and instead of you just going through like Control F through these PDFs to find some specific rule or parameters which apply for a specific policy, for example, then as this chatbot has all of this data and has all these PDFs, you could kind of just ask the question. And to demonstrate you that, let's send in something like this, that for example, if my state's specific insurance regulations differ from the rules in this RSL agent guide, which rules am I supposed to follow? Now that was a pretty professional question, but now if we look at the chatbot did the hard work for us, and it came back with an answer saying that we should comply with the state insurance regulations first, then with the RSL agent guide, and then it gives like this kind of page from where he took the info. So even if we want to manually check it, we wouldn't have to go through all of this, like for example in this case 199 PDF document, and we just instantly are in this page. And now there are a few other things, because we also had videos as you saw in the start, and it also can answer questions about videos. And for example, there was some kind of video about a software, so let's ask a question about that specific software, and then why am I getting cross-agency transactions aren't allowed error when trying to process client payment in Epic. And Epic is the name of that software we're using in this example. And now it's again going to think for a bit, and it's going to come back to us saying these like 7 things. At the bottom we can see it came back with actually specific video timestamps. So again, similarly to PDFs like you saw before, just so we don't have to look into manually, it drops the specific video timestamp when we start the video. It actually starts from that 5 minutes 49 seconds where it like talks about this error. And by the way, thanks for the Kite technology for making this video. This is a great video. But I mean, it did that. This video is just basically the commercial lines for this, a screen recording and a woman talking over it and showing these things, and then I just put it into SharePoint, and the AI just read the transcript, and that's how it was able to actually answer a question and give actually the timestamp second. Now, but that is that. You kind of understand now how this chatbot can help you, basically search your information. And as this is custom built, it can also be some kind of CRM or some ERP or whatever you use in insurance. If it has some kind of API connection possibility, we can also connect it to there, and you can also search data in there, for example, for specific client data. For example, retrieve me Johnny's insurance policy number. These things can be done. And that is what is cool about the solution. And actually, also when talking about these custom things, one of such things is that it automatically adds to your meetings. Now, and if I would go and make meeting, let's check that it's Teams meeting. Let's save. Now if we join it, here we can see our internal chatbot or insurance chatbot, let me say in this example, joined our meeting also. And we didn't have to add it manually. It did it itself. And now how this could be beneficial, for example, let's say that you could be in a meeting with a client, potential or existing, and a client asks you some question about some policy. And again, just so you wouldn't have to leave your Teams meeting and you start switching, you start searching, you have it here at the side panel. You don't have to leave Teams. You can just like resize it like this. Then you ask the question, and then again, it just comes back with an answer. And you can like present it to the client. So that's like also one of the way. Then if we go into something like Outlook, you would also have it like a side panel. And for example, here, when you're maybe doing some email to again, a client. And here on email, it kind of goes like similarly in Teams, like where, for example, a person asks you a question and then you're writing the reply to him, right? But you forget that one thing. And now instead of you going to the SharePoint, going to docs, maybe some videos, looking them, again, ask the question, then you wait a bit while the chatbot searches for the info. And once you have it, you can keep writing the email, right? You do the policy must be active and enforced, or specifically for Outlook, we have designed, how many steps are there? But here, for example, we can see it took it from page 28. But now for Outlook, we have actually put it that you can actually insert the link to that specific page. And then for the other person, when he would receive the email, he would actually, when he would click on this one, he would be thrown to that specific page, just like us in here. So you probably may see some potential here that if the chatbot eliminates the need to manually search in documents and it gives the answer like this, then it may probably also automatically answer our client questions, right? Or at least draft replies. But that is up for some other video. If you drop some likes, I'll make a video about that one. And then this is kind of how it goes for Outlook. A lot of custom possibilities, like I said. And now, as I've covered these few things, the last few things is actually to show me the structure of this, so you see how secure it is. And this is actually pretty perfect structure on how to show that. Here we can see the clouds, SharePoint and OneDrive. In this video's example, we used the SharePoint. We had everything there, videos, documents, PDFs, all that stuff. And then Azure Cloud is just part of Microsoft. So basically, let me take a drawer. It's like in this one ecosystem. So you have this one little bubble of clouds, you have the other little bubble of the Azure cloud, and combined, it's only in this one structure. So this isn't like some kind of open AI that you're making some kind of backdoor. So all the data, all that stays into Azure. And also all the AIs used for the chatbot is actually inside Azure. And we also configure the AIs that they don't store any log data with the user messages, because by default it stores user messages for 30 days and then it deletes it. At least they say that. But so there's a possibility to actually configure those AI models so they just get rid of those log data immediately as they receive the message. So message goes through and it goes away. And that's kind of how it goes. So your data is secure, data is private. Also, there's no public IP addresses inside the Azure Cloud, because there are a lot of these logics used inside Azure Cloud. It's not like there's this one AI and then there's the data. There are a lot of things in the background happening, and these things doesn't have any public IP addresses. They have private endpoints, meaning that in a real world that would be like a building without windows, without doors, and people just couldn't see what's inside. So that's kind of how it goes on the security. But now, why don't we do a quick math on how much you can actually save, and we're going to see how much it compares doing it manually, meaning searching information in documents manually, or with internal chatbot. And we're going to take the average of 15 euros per hour, which is, I mean, pretty, I'd say, conservative depending on the country you're watching in. And we're going to see how much it costs for one person, for 10 person. And we're going to see that on average, every day, this person searches for 15 minutes manually for information, which, I mean, 15 minutes, what's 15 minutes, right? And now if you do the calculations in a week, let's take 5 days, that's about 75 minutes. So a little bit over an hour. In a month, that's 300 minutes. In a year, 3,600 divided by 60. That is 60 hours a year times our average hourly rate. And that's 900 we get for a year. And that's euros in this example. And now for 10 person, it would be obviously 9,000 euros. But with internal chatbot, now internal chatbot for a month, let's take an average, you would pay something like 150 euros a month. That's like on average. It could be less, it could be a bit more, but 150 euros a month. And then the second cost is AI cost, which is like you ask a question and then you basically pay AI for answering that question and searching the documents and all that stuff. And that price is about 2.5 euros per 100 questions. It was actually 5 euros last year, but so as newer models gets dropped, the price and the performance improves like 2 times. So pretty insane. And now with this insurance chatbot, let's say that a person would ask 15 questions a day. Now 15 questions a day times 20 days, that's 300 questions a month. In a year, that's 3,600 questions that person would make to the chatbot on average. Again, I mean, and we divide this by 100, that's 36, and we do 36 times 2.5, that's about 72, let's say 100 euros. Why not? You would pay in the AI usage for that person to ask the questions. And if we do it by yearly, because this is per year, you're losing here, then here total to 1,900. So 1,900, almost 2,000. And while this may seem much for one person, but for the 10 person with the chatbot, what might surprise you is that this monthly cost, believe it or not, but it will stay the same. It will be 150 euros a month. And this is the best part in this, I think. And then of course the AI usage, that would be like for each person. So that would be 1,000 euros. But so that would total to 2,900. And that is a bit not understandable. Almost 3,000. So that's 3 times money you are saving for a 10-person team with the chatbot. And that is compared to only 15 minutes spent searching in files manually. That's like, I mean, 15 minutes. What's 15 minutes? People spend hours on the phones. So that's pretty massive amount you can save by having such internal chatbot like I showed you before, which can search in videos, PDFs, documents, and do all these other custom things. And I think it's a worth thinking solution. And this is for actually 15 euros an hour. But now that's actually all I had to show you today. And so please, if you saw this beneficial and you see that it could save you some time also in your insurance agency, then don't be shy, and we can help you set such internal chatbot also for your cloud. You have to be a SharePoint OneDrive user, so we can kind of set up the Azure cloud for you. That's actually all about the solution and also all from me. So take care.